Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. So I snagged a whole bunch of your questions from my Telltale Games video earlier today. I tried to pick a mixture of book, show, and game questions. Generally, you guys all seem pretty pumped about it. Like I said, once the game actually drops in December, I'll probably use it for a weekly giveaway on my video game channel, in addition to the book giveaway here on my main channel. And I totally forgot to mention it this morning, but Syrio Forel from the show, the actor, was cast in Star Wars Episode 7. So that's 2 Game of Thrones actors, because remember, Gwendolyn Christie is also in it. I just did a big update video for it, so there will be a link in the description for that if you want to learn more about Star Wars Episode 7. Syrio Forel probably did get cast as a Jedi though, because you do not cast a water dancer if you do not want them to dance. There's so many God of Death jokes you could make in the Star Wars universe, since Jedi can transcend physical form. But on to questions. Number 1, Edward asks, how closely will the game be tied to Season 5? So the game will be separate from the show, but they probably did consult each other on the stories just to see what things the show was going to include in Season 5. The game is designed so that the story isn't super dependent on what goes down on the show, and the same is true for the books. They're not going to make it so that you have to watch the show to understand the game, and you don't have to buy the game to understand the show. I do expect the game to be a little bit closer to the show than the Walking Dead game is to the Walking Dead show, but don't expect the characters in the video game to be hanging out with the main characters all the time. And remember, decisions that you make early on will affect later interactions you have, so you could turn the tide of battle based on the options you make. But question number 2, Vladimir asks, will the game be free? Only if you win one of my giveaways, but seriously though, it's going to be way cheaper than a normal console game. In the United States, for example, Destiny on Xbox is about $60 US. The Walking Dead Telltale game in comparison is only $25 US. You can buy a season pass to get all the future episodes in addition to the initial game. The episodes are like content patches where they roll out new story. It's an extra $15 to get all the episodes per season. The Game of Thrones game will pretty much be the exact same price as the Walking Dead game. Like, they want to keep it cheap. I'll probably be buying the Steam version just because it's more convenient for me to play on my computer. But whichever country you live in, however much the Walking Dead game is right now, that's basically how much Game of Thrones is going to cost. They haven't confirmed the number of episodes per season, but I'd expect it to be on par with Walking Dead, and there were 5 episodes during Season 2 of the game this year. On to question number 3, Space Gypsy asks, are you implying that you're Jon Snow? I'm not sure what you made this in reference to, but I do have the same birthday as Kit Harington, which I think is kind of funny. Question number 4, Tom Monty asks, what date will Season 5 air in the UK? Pretty much the same day that Season 4 premiered. In the US, that was April 6th, the first Sunday in April, so 2015 would make that April 5th. I know international time zones make it a little bit weird, but plan on it premiering at the same time last year. They might bump it by a week though, forward or backward. But question number 5, Paul Long asks, do you think a spoilery battle in the game will go down the same way it does in the books? So I omitted the name just in case people skipped the spoiler section from my video this morning. If the game does go that far, it'll depend entirely on the decisions you make, probably. Remember, it's choose your own adventure, so you could completely derp the big battles or make all the right choices to make you win. Once the game gets closer to release, we'll probably have a better idea of what the narrative arc is going to be, so then we'll have a better picture for what they're going to be doing from the books of the show. I don't think the game will be exactly like the show or the books, but I think it'll be really close. I will continue to do preview videos for the video game as we learn new information though. But question number 6, Mattis asks, do you think that Oberyn poisoned Tywin before his death? No, but only because the Mountain was the first person on Oberyn's shit list. Tywin was on his list, he just wasn't the first person. Had Oberyn lived, eventually he would have totally killed Tywin, presumably using his spear in the most painful way possible. Just picture Oberyn just running the spear up from bottom to top. You get the idea. But number 7, Joe Byrne asks, do you have a favorite book in the series and could you rank them? So it's been a little while since I've read book 5, like that's the latest one I read, but I would say that's probably my favorite right now. Dance with Dragons was the first book that I waited for in anticipation, having read all the other books. Like if you started the series when the first book was published in 1996, you get to experience that long wait and the crazy rush whenever they finally release book 2, then book 3, and so on. That's why I expect that whenever Winds of Winter is released, the trend will continue and that'll be my new favorite book. But ranking all the books so far, starting with best to less best, I wouldn't say any of them are bad, so I didn't want to say worst, but I'd say book 5, book 4, book 1, book 2, and book 3. Really, it's been so long since I've read most of the books that a lot of the events in the earlier ones bleed together in my head. I do have to go back and reference them if I forget when certain events happen. I will probably end up rereading books 4 and 5 before next year though, before season 5, just because those are mostly going to be what the show on season 5 draws from. But question number 8, Justin Wang asks, could you do a room tour video? Yeah, I can't remember where I said it, but I think I already promised to do a room tour video. Right now, it's just like a bunch of boxes. Like I'm standing in a corner right now, and I haven't really unpacked anything. That's why this looks like I'm in limbo. I'm expecting to be done with all that at least by October, so it's not going to be too long. Definitely before I hit 500k subs, but I am planning a special thing that's a little bit different for whenever that happens. So I'll be making more announcements as that gets closer. But question number 9, Shame CC asks, do you think that Theon could be Azor Ahai? Right now, based on the information we have and all the theories that I've read, I would still say that Daenerys is Azor Ahai, but that's just my opinion. She's the closest thing to an avatar of fire. That might totally change based on what happens during Winds of Winter, but unless things take a dramatic left turn, I already have my ideas about who the champions of ice and fire are going to be. I did like a whole White Walker prophecy video where I kind of detail that out in great detail, so I'll add a link in the description if you guys want to learn more about that. I do think that Theon's going to continue to be important, or Reek, or however you want to think about him, but mostly during the spoiler battle during Winds of Winter. I talked about that earlier today, so just rewatch the video game video that I posted this morning. But question number 10 and last one, Kevin asks, is it true that the actor playing Jaqen H'ghar is coming back to the show? If so, will he play the kindly man? So yes, it's totally true that the actor playing Jaqen H'ghar came back to the show, but because the show is going to be different from the books, it's possible that they'll change that kindly man character a little bit. If you're a book reader, and it kind of sounds like you are, I think that Jaqen is really the alchemist, and the kindly man is someone totally different. But the show does tend to combine book characters a lot, so it's possible Jaqen could become an amalgam of a couple of different Faceless Men characters. For those that don't know, the kindly man is like a leader inside the Faceless Men, the order that Jaqen H'ghar belongs to. I already did a big video explaining who they are and what they might be doing during season 5, so I'll add a link in the description for that too. Since I originally planned to do a Faith Militant video until this stuff came along, I'll probably make that my next bonus video. Be sure to subscribe to get it. They're basically like the militarized arm of the Church of the Seventh, so they're probably going to be featured in season 5, don't know quite how yet. But congratulations to this week's giveaway winner, Luca Laurent. You win your choice of any of the Song of Ice and Fire books or the short stories, so I'll message you on your channel for details. The next round of the giveaway, just like normal, will start whenever I post my next bonus video. But right now, click here to learn all about the Faceless Men, and click here to learn all about the video game if you didn't see that video this morning. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys tonight. High fives.